Stop teaching it this way. Don't worry, I'm not going to make you too frustrated. Well, then again, I might. There's pros and cons to every technique. When we're teaching the break fall, aka slapping the mat, do we have items in our hands? No. Because guess what? When we're slapping the mat inside of a mat room, what do we have? Cushion mat, nothing in our hands. What else could we have in our hands? Are we going to have a handgun in our hand? Are we teaching to slap the mat with a gun in our hand? Of course not. What about a radio? We lose our radio, we have no communications. What about pepper spray? Think about all the things. We slap the mat, we lose an item. Guess what? Now the person around us or the environment around us has now got access to a weapon. Let's talk about some pros and cons of slapping the mat, and let's talk about a different way of teaching how to protect ourselves in the real world when it comes to law enforcement. We're not in a mat room. We're in the real world. But I don't want that cheap fame. No, I'm not that vain. I just want to be great. You can see this isn't a mat room. And then as we're falling, instead of reaching out to slap, in this particular case, picnic tables, we're going to keep our elbows tucked, keep our hands in front of us, and kind of like I'd like to say, have our little T-Rex arm, so to speak. I'm here, I'm talking with somebody, something's happened, I'm falling, boom, oh, oh. So, I mean, imagine if all I knew would be to fall and to catch the picnic tables with my arms. Would that be something I'd really want to do? I can fall, tuck my chin, engage my core, just like a break fall that we teach in BLET or most martial arts. However, within law enforcement, there's a chance that I'm going to be in an environment that's not a mat room. So I don't want to be slapping my environment, and I want to keep my arms close to my core. If I have something in my, just like the photos in this video, would you really want to, even in an open hand, slap the rocks, slap the railroad tracks? Would you? I don't think what you're teaching or what you're doing is wrong. I just want you to know the pros and cons to the tactic or the technique that you're teaching, because I firmly believe there's no absolute correct way. Every situation, every technique, every tactic, every decision we make is to a degree, it has, whether it's more optimal or less optimal. And I really feel that teaching to slap the mat, it's got a lot of cons to it. And that is, what am I going to have in my hands? And what am I slapping? Because in the mat room, there's usually nothing in our hands, and it's a mat room, not real world. In the real world, I'm going to have things in my hand. I'm going to have tools. I'm going to have communications potentially. There's no telling what I could have in my hands, and I particularly don't want to slap this with things in my hands.